stoked to be here. I am going to be talking about something very fun today. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time and you don't know me, my name is Justin Moore. I am the founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. So today is a very special day because cohort number 6 of my Brand Deal Wizard program is now open. I am very excited. We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail later. But today we're actually going to be talking about what is actually negotiable in brand deals. Okay, that's one thing. I think a lot of people think that increasing and decreasing your price or your rate is the only lever that you have when you are negotiating with brands, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Let me know where you're tuning in from the chat. We got Marcus all the way from Switzerland. What's up, Marcus? We got Bren tuning in here. I'm going to pull up the IG chat. I am also going live, by the way, friends, in my brand new Circle community. If you are not a part of it, I would love to have you in there. I'm assuming and I'm hoping that this is working. I guess we're going to see, but trying that today as well. And I'm going to pull up. Oh, I never pressed record. Start broadcast. Of course, it's not working. I did not press. I had to start broadcast in TikTok in my Restream, where I go live to all my other platforms like YouTube and LinkedIn and all that stuff, Twitter, and then IG Live, which I use a separate software for that, and then my Circle community. So what is that? 4 places? I guess that's 4 places. Let me pull up IG chat. Cool. Y'all, all right, so stoked to chat about this. We got meet Richard Reyes all the way from Tustin. What's up, Richard? We've got Comfy tuning in on TikTok. All right, guys, let's dive right into this. By the way, after I talk about this, so I just wanted to mention, I am just getting over COVID. You guys probably saw that I did not show up last week. I try and show up every single week for y'all, and last week I just could not do it. I have been actually feeling really sick. Today is probably one of the best days. It's been about 10 days. I actually just tested negative today. I've been testing positive for the last 10 days, but I just tested negative today. So feeling a lot better. April also got it. So we've been kind of hunkered down here, quarantined in the house for a while. And it's been pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie. So I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better. So I hope you can bear with me. I've got kind of a nasty cough, but we'll see. I've got my water, cough drops, the whole deal. So I want to talk about what's actually negotiable in brand deals today. But if you have any questions for me, please let me know, because I would definitely want to answer those. But let's just kick it off. So again, I think that most creators think that, again, increasing and decreasing their rates, the only lever that you have. When the reality is that everything is negotiable. Okay. And so the first mindset shift that you need to have around this topic is that, again, every single component of the deal is negotiable. So even if the brand comes to you and says, we want to do one YouTube video, or we want to do one TikTok, or we want to do one Instagram post, your very first job is to understand what their objective is with this campaign. Because if it's, let's say that getting content that they can repurpose and run ads with, well, if they're asking you to make a 15-minute YouTube video about the product, that may not be the right move. So your job is to educate them about what would be a better approach given their objective. And I think a lot of creators are very nervous to do things like this because they don't want to rock the boat, right? They're thinking that, okay, well, if the brand is telling me that they want me to make a YouTube video, I better make a YouTube video. But one of the things that differentiates really savvy creators from others is ones who are willing to lean into that expert role, the educator role, and say, hey, I have been on social media for 3-4 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. I know what works well on this platform, right? I want to understand a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish for this holistic campaign so that I can provide the best proposal for you to help you accomplish that. So yeah, maybe doing an integrated YouTube video is not going to be the right move. If you're wanting to drive sales, maybe there's going to be a different approach, right? That's actually one of a favorite tactic that I have with my wife and I. We do live commerce on Amazon Live. And so if the brand says that conversion is their most important KPI or key performance indicator for this campaign, then doing an Instagram carousel may not be the right move. And so we may pivot and say, hey, I noticed that you guys are, you also have an Amazon presence. You have an Amazon storefront. You're selling your products there. Would you be interested actually in doing an Amazon live stream? Because I think that would be more aligned with the goals that you're communicating to us for this campaign. So it's something very simple as that at the outset when you're asking them about these campaigns, about these objectives, that asking those questions will completely change the direction of what you actually pitch and what you propose to them, right? We got Fitz Possible Trucking. What's going on? We've got, we got my boo, April Athena 7. What's up, baby? Thanks for tuning in. You can already see my my cough is coming. We've got Molly Mo Dizzle tuning in on IG. Social with Sandy. What's up? We've got Drea's Curious Cuisine. Chaidu all the way from Mexico. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is that going along with that first mindset shift around leaning into the educator role, leaning into the role of expertise, you cannot be concerned that the brand or the agency is going to pull the deal the moment that you start asking for changes to the partnership. And if they do pull the deal, that is a good thing, because that is not a brand that would have valued you in the long run. Right? Legitimate agencies understand that in order to forge a healthy partnership, there is going to be some compromise, right? And it's way better to hash all of that out in the beginning than discover something that you both missed right in the middle of it. A great example of this is, for example, the number of rounds of revisions. This is where things can become super contentious if you don't have language in the agreement that governs what the brand can and cannot ask for. Has that ever happened to you? Drop it in the chat. Have you ever gotten into the middle of a negotiate or in the middle of a partnership with a brand, and then they start asking for 3, 4, 5 rounds of revisions, reshoots, all this stuff, and then you go back to the contract and you're like, oh crap, I don't have any language that governs what they can and can't ask of me. I actually have a viral TikTok all about this topic. Like I think this is like a sensitive, a hot button topic, because I think a lot of people have run into that. Bree Payne says the wizard himself. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Oh yeah. Send me likes. Thank you, Bree. I think that's a thing on TikTok. Yeah. You just keep tapping that. Maybe share it. I think you could share it on TikTok too, which would help me out. Fit Possible Trucking said, I just had to have this conversation with the brand because it was in the contract. There we go. Love to hear that. Yuritsa tuning in from Los Angeles. WG Moto. We got Justin dying on the stream. I'm not quite dying. I am surviving, I would say is the right way to say it. Okay. So again, it's all about this mindset shift about a lot of people think it's like this power dynamic thing. It's like, oh, I'm so lucky that the brand wants to work with me. I don't want to do anything to rock the boat. I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to say anything because they're going to pull the deal. And in reality, they're not going to pull the deal. Dalji Mara says, sorry, just coming in. What is today's topic? Today's topic is what is actually negotiable, because most people think that the only thing you can negotiate is price. So the third thing that I want to talk about here is that when a brand or an agency tells you that their budget is fixed, oh, sorry, we can't go above that, you need to take a step back and evaluate all of the different deal components that you can play with, right? The number of posts, which platforms, the medium of the posts, right? Photo or video or text, the usage rights. Will it be organic media usage? Will it be paid media usage? What would the term be? What's the exclusivity term? What's the exclusivity category? Like, when are you going to deliver the content? How many rounds of revisions, right? So on. There's so many things. And so your job is to lay it all out for the brand and say, hey, this full set of deliverables and the terms that you're asking for, that would be $10,000 or whatever, right? And I realize that your max budget is $5,000 and I really want to make this work. So let's talk about how we can restructure this partnership to make that happen. right? We're going to remove a few posts. We're going to confine the exclusivity. We're going to remove the paid media, or we're going to shorten the paid media term. We're going to remove the whitelisting or boosting or Spark ads or whatever. So you're only limited by your creativity, right? So I can't stress this enough that when you pull back and take kind of a 30,000 foot view on these negotiations that you're having with brands, that is when you're going to start to realize that, wow, everything about this deal is negotiable. It's not just the price. And this is the crux of what I teach in my Brand Deal Wizard program, which I'm so excited to announce. Enrollment is open today. We already had a huge amount of creators enroll in the early access period. They were on the wait list. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about what my Brand Deal Wizard program is and how you can get value out of it. So it is a 4-week course to help you learn how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorship so that you stop leaving thousands on the table. Again, I teach it live over Zoom every single week. It is so much fun. So week 1 is all about it's all about pitching strategy. Okay. So understanding, how do you craft a compelling pitch? How do you know who to reach out to? What do you actually say when you reach out to them? Understanding about my sponsorship wheel framework so that you never wonder when and where your next paid partnership will come from. Because at the end of the day, it's all about introducing predictability, introducing sustainability, introducing scalability into your sponsorship strategy. So if you are sitting on your hands and thinking like, oh man, I don't know, when the next paid deal is going to come. Like it's nice to get sponsorships, but I can never predict when they actually come, which is absolutely false. Brand deals are predictable if you make them predictable. And so that's what week 1 of the course is talking about this principle, about how you can introduce this predictability and reliability into your sponsorship strategy. So pitching, understanding what to say, how to craft a proposal. So week 2 is all about pricing, right? The age-old question, how much do I charge? How do I know how to price myself? So we talk all about pricing, package strategy, negotiation strategy. We go through real negotiations, back and forth, looking at the emails, dissecting what can you actually say? What can you say here? What should you say here? I realized a long time ago that my superpower is I can parachute in to any negotiation, right? This is what creators hire me to do for one-on-one coaching. I parachute in, and regardless of where they're at in the negotiation, right, I can know exactly what to say and where to say it. Okay. And so that is what I want to teach you in week 2 of my course, is how to actually understand and be completely confident regardless of where you're at in the negotiation, so that you're never stalled and you're like, I don't know what to say here. Okay. So week 3 is all about execution of the deal. This is something that no one talks about. Okay. Because this point where you're actually doing the production of the partnership is where the brand will ultimately decide whether they want to hire you again or not in the future. Okay. So we talk all about the nuts and bolts of actually how to produce a compelling content that the brand is going to be absolutely thrilled with. They don't have to come back to you for revisions. You don't waste your time doing revisions because you have double, triple checked, crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's, and you deliver it to them on a silver platter. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. This is unlike professionalism, unlike any other creator that we've ever worked with. Thank you. Okay. And week 4 is all about nurturing and case studies and testimonials. How do you actually craft compelling examples of your past work that will convince both those existing brands to work with you again, as well as new brands, that you can actually show them apples to apples comparisons of why you are the best fit for this new opportunity that they're coming to you for, or you reaching out and pitching a deal. Okay. So if you're interested, I would love for you to join. You can just go to branddealwizard.com to find out more. Again, enrollment is going to be open for about 10 days. It closes on June 20th, and the first class is June 21st. So the 4 class dates are June 21st, June 28th, July 5th, and July 12th. Those are all at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you cannot make the live sessions, all of the replays are going to be posted within 24 hours. So we've had several creators who, just have schedule conflicts and aren't able to make it. And they watch the replays. The other thing I wanted to mention, there's a couple other really exciting things about the course, which is that Dee, who is my superstar alumni, she was in cohort 3 of Brand Deal Wizard. She is like taken, it's incredible to see the knowledge that she has taken and learned and where she has grown her creator career to date. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So Dee, I've actually hired Dee. I've been working with her for, I think, almost a year now, and she runs all of the office hours for my Brand Deal Wizard program. So this is another 2 more times during the week. During each week, there's weekly sessions where you can log on, ask questions, get to know your other peers for in the cohort, and ask those like nitty gritty individual questions that you have. By the way, I also do Q&A sessions during the live Zooms as well at the end of the instruction period. So there's lots and lots of opportunities for you to get your individualized questions answered. And then the other thing that's really exciting, two more things actually, is that I could talk for a long time because there's a lot of exciting things about it. The other thing I didn't even mention is that there is a brand deal pricing calculator as part of the course. So it's a very well-researched calculator that I have spent a lot of time developing. And so it helps you take some of the, it is an art and a science when it comes to pricing your sponsorships, but it helps take a lot of the uncertainty out of this to understand kind of a baseline of how you should be constructing your packages using this calculator. So that's one thing. The second thing is that there is a private community. I'm super excited that we just launched a brand new private community that has consolidated all of the different areas that I was previously running the course in the community into one area on Circle. And it is fantastic. It's so much better organized. There's calendars, there's chat areas, there's forums, there's all the resources. It's amazing. I'm so excited that we finally launched it. It's been months in the making. And so you get access to that. And then the final thing that is brand new for this cohort, it's not something that we've ever done before, is guest speakers. We're going to have some incredible guest speakers. We're going to have Brendan Gahan, who is on the agency side. He's a partner at Mechanism. He's been doing influencer marketing for over a decade. So he's going to be talking all about the agency side. Like, what do they actually look for with influencers? What are they actually trying to accomplish when they work with brands and do influencer activations? We're going to be talking with Kevin Herrera, who is an influencer manager. He's been doing representation for many years. And so he's another guest session. Then we have another secret one that I can't announce yet, but it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait. So if you'd love to find out more information about it, go to branddealwizard.com. I'm going to pull this up on the screen here. Again, we've had amazing people already join. And Molly in the IG chat, just real quickly, said that case studies have tripled my average money per partnership. Amazing, right? Incredible. Case studies have tripled my average partnership. Okay. So it's hugely impactful. Molly, I just want to give Molly a quick shout out. She's also an alumni of my Brand Deal Wizard program, and she earned enough in paid partnerships to actually quit her full-time job. Incredible. So anyways, just wanted to make that quick shout out to let you know that Brand Deal Wizard enrollment is open, and I would love to, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to dive into the chat. Nye Functioning Autism says, I always watch on YouTube. First time I made it to TikTok live stream. Makeup Jackie, hey, I just joined in the live. Great to see y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And we got El Jefe. We got Jeff in the chat. What's going on, dude? Thanks for tuning in, man. We've got It's Chide who said, is it hard to demonstrate predictability if it's your first brand deal? So give me a little bit more about what you are wondering about that in terms of demonstrating predictability, meaning what? Let me know. So it's actually a good point of clarification. So I'm assuming that you're at that stage of trying to get your first deal. So my Brand Deal Wizard program definitely is best for creators who have some experience working with paid brand partners. Okay. If you are getting a bunch of gifted offers, free products, but you haven't gotten paid yet for the first time, hold off. And I would say don't enroll in my Brand Deal Wizard program right now because it's not the right fit for you. I am coming out with a different course later in the year called Gifted to Paid, all about this topic. So that'll be a better fit for you. But this Brand Deal Wizard program is for creators who are, let's say, charging $1,000 a post, for example, and wanting to know, how can I actually go from charging 1,000 to charging 10,000, right? How do you actually make that transition? Okay. And so that's really, it's the intermediate to advanced level creator who's really looking to take their income from sponsorships to the next level. That's what this program is designed for. But I do have another course coming out coming out later in the year where it's more kind of beginner and aspirational creator focused. Okay. So hopefully that helps. So what are your questions, y'all? Let's see. We got Dr. Fredo Star. Oh, I dropped a question on YouTube. Let me see if I can see it. There we go. Okay. Health and Lifestyle with Dr. Fredo Star MD said a brand was asking for 6 months exclusivity, but not willing to pay the exclusivity fee. I walked away from the collaboration. What do you think about this? Well, what I think about it is I'm proud of you, right? You walked away from a deal. There was money in hand and you decided that, hey, being locked out from working with potential competitors for 6 months is just not worth whatever this brand is offering me. And one question I have for you potentially is, I'm assuming that you did some sort of evaluation of the category of the exclusivity, right? Like you're trying to figure out, is this category broad enough where I'm being approached by brands in this category pretty frequently. And so if I did this deal, that would lock me out from a lot of other opportunities. And so to me, that's pretty much one of the main things that matters when it comes to determining whether you want to agree to any sort of exclusivity. Like for us, the way we've always looked at it is, if the category of exclusivity is narrow, right? It's a category that we're probably not going to be like, for example, we're actually just posting a sponsorship today with Duracell right after this live stream. We need to post it. But we have exclusivity in the battery category for, I don't remember exactly how long it is, but it's not that long, but it's like the likelihood of like us getting another partnership with a battery brand in the next whatever term it was is pretty low, right? So we're fine agreeing to that. Obviously we priced that into the partnership. But it comes down to the calculus in your mind of like your history of being, of brands reaching out to you in that category, or you're actually pitching brands in that category. Like, unless, like, I know, for example, this is something that some of my coaching customer coaching creators have run into in the past, which is that their channel is all about, let's say, tech, right? And the brand, who wants to partner with them, they want exclusivity from like a very broad tech category. So like, I don't know, consumer electronics or like, smartphones. And then their entire channel is about reviewing smartphones. So like things like that, it's going to be very difficult to agree to because of the nature of the content that you create. And so that's like another consideration where, you're going to maybe wanting to charge a lot higher of amount if the category that they want exclusivity for represents a significant portion of the content that you create, if that makes sense. Right. So let me know if that's helpful, but that's kind of how I think about this kind of stuff. Terry Bryant Photography said, sorry, my connection dropped out. Do you have a course for beginners? My course for beginners is called Gifted to Paid, and that will be dropping in the August timeframe. So it is not out yet. But if you want to find out more information about that, you can just go to Gifted to Paid, like TO paid.com. You can sign up for the waitlist there. We got Rhea tuning in, Rhea tuning in on the chat. Makeup Jackie, Black Shot Shop TM, I think. Mox Mom, Megan Moves. Thanks for tuning in. And I am, one of the symptoms that I've had with COVID has been dizziness, y'all. I don't know. Those of you who have had COVID, like, did you have that symptom? Because that has not gone away from me yet. I was just talking and then I just got dizzy all of a sudden. It's like a persistent thing. It's like it won't go away. And I'm hoping that it does, because it's not a fun thing. It's not vertigo. It's like all of a sudden I'll just like the room will be spinning. That ever happened to y'all? Because it's not. It is like annoying and not fun. Oh my goodness. So oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't wait for this to, like, all my symptoms to go away, because it's not fun. It's definitely not fun. So let's see. There was another question. Let's see. Supreme Gecko said, question, what are your thoughts on doing a few free product review videos before moving to asking for paid branded videos? So my opinion on doing videos like for free in the beginning may be a little bit different than other people, which is that I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Because there is value in getting repetitions under your belt. Okay. What I am not a fan of is when brands are asking for this giant laundry list of things to do, talking points, calls to action, links to include in the description box in exchange for the free product, because that's a lot of work. It's one thing to actually reach out to you and say, hey, we want to send you this product, no strings attached. If you want to talk about it on your channel or your platforms, that would be awesome, but it's not required. That's the type of relationship where it's pretty awesome, because then you have the creative latitude to include it how you want to, and you can get, again, those repetitions under your belt. So those are the types of deals that I don't even know if I would call them deals. Like, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, because again, you're getting those repetitions, because when your dream brands do reach out, you want to make sure that you have a little bit of experience working with brands so that you don't screw it up. Right? So that's really my thought process on this. I would clarify something, Supreme Gecko, which is that you will anchor yourself pretty significantly with those particular brands. So if what you are talking about is doing free product review videos, testimonials, whatever, unboxings for a specific brand to gain their trust, and then you come back to them and say, hey, can you pay me now? That's going to be a much steeper cliff to climb out of, because they're in their mind, they're going to be like, well, Supreme Gecko was totally fine doing this for free. Why are they all of a sudden want to be paid? So what I'm talking about is actually getting the repetitions under your belt and then using that experience to work with different brands. So it's going to be very difficult for you to convince. It's not impossible. You can definitely do it if you've set a precedent with an existing brand. And what it comes down to is illustrating to them and articulating to them why they should pay you now. So when you come back to them and say, hey, I would love to consider, talk about doing some sort of paid partnerships now, you can't just say, I'm going to do the same thing that I've always been doing for the free products. Because again, like, why? They were doing it for free before. So the onus is on you to come back to them and say, hey, I would love to, talk about how we can take our relationship to the next level. And here is what that looks like to me. I'm going to do this. 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 I'm going to help you, think through social strategy for your platforms. I'm going to create some compelling content that you can post on your platforms, use it for paid advertising. I can serve as a consultant. We can meet once a quarter, talk about what's working on your channels, on platforms, on social media, what's not, strategize how you could get some compelling content from creators to use on your website, on your e-commerce partners, on Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, it's going to be $2,000 a month, but let's talk about it. What do you think? So again, that's so much different than just saying, oh, I'm going to keep talking about you, but now you got to pay me. Right. So again, that's something I go into in a lot of detail in my course, but hopefully that's helpful. I just wanted to make that determination, or that distinction, that it's difficult to climb out of that hole when you have dug that with a brand. Right. Oh, Deals with Mel said about the lethargy or the dizziness. Yes, I would be tired every 5 minutes and extremely thirsty. Yeah, it's been really weird because April's symptoms have been totally different than mine. She had the whole sore throat thing, and I never had a sore throat. And she seems like she's like recovering a lot more quickly than me, or a lot more quickly. Is that right? So anyways, I'm thrilled to hear that. Anyways, so thank you guys for your grace. I appreciate that. Makeup Jackie Love, can you talk about the course? Yeah, I actually talked about the course in a lot of detail a little bit earlier on. So when you can watch the replay. I talk a little bit about kind of exactly what's included in it. But if you go to branddealwizard.com, there's a lot of information there. There's some videos that I talk a lot more detail. So, and just DM me if you have any questions about it. Would be happy to answer them. Let's see. Yeah, El Jefe says, agreed. No strings attached is the best way. Anything else requires payment. Yep. Maria Elena in TikTok says, makeup creator here. You have inspired me to reach out to a brand for sponsorships in Halloween. Congratulations. And you know what's so funny? Brands are starting to recruit for Halloween already. We just got a brand in our inbox a couple days ago all about Halloween campaigns. So you're thinking like, what? Are you kidding me? That's like 4 months away, more than 4 months away. But this is how far in advance that these brands plan. They have budgets. Let's say they're allocating $100, $200, $500,000 to work with creators for certain holidays, and they plan out this far in advance. So that's another thing that I teach in a lot of detail, is that your planning cycles have to be a lot earlier than you actually think. You can't reach out to a brand on October 14th for a Halloween campaign. Most of the brands are actually locking folks in now. Right? So it's absolutely critical to start thinking about this type of thing too right now. Chido says, I'm in the middle of a negotiation, but since I've never done any sponsored content before, I can't show case studies. All I have is predictable views. Thank you for your content. It's helping me a lot. No, I get it. I totally understand. And so one of the things that I would advise you about this aspect, which I hear a lot, which is that, I don't have never done any deals. So how can I show case studies? So the best thing that you can do here is actually show them past content that you've made that you believe is very representative of what you could do in partnership with them. So perhaps, I don't know what type of, maybe you can tell me what your content vertical is, or your niche, or your the type of content you make. But let's say that you are a food influencer, let's say, and you are making, a brand approaches you. You've never done any paid deals, and a brand approaches you in a particular category. Maybe it's like beverages, or energy drinks, or something like that, right? It would behoove you, if you have ever made content that incorporates, beverages like that, drinks like that, even if it was not sponsored, if you included it as part of your, I don't know, maybe you're doing like entertaining, a video about entertaining during the summer or something, and you showed yourself pouring your favorite, wine or beverages or whatever, you show that to them. You say, hey, here's a piece of content that I think is very much in alignment with your products and the category in which you operate. It's in alignment with the goal that you have for this campaign. Take a look at this. Here's some high-level metrics. Right? So even though that piece of content was not sponsored, it can still serve as a case study for you. Okay? So hopefully that's helpful. That's like my little hack there. Actually, a great example of that is when my wife and I first started out doing live commerce on Amazon Live, and we wanted to start pitching brands on this new format that we have. We have a new show format, basically, where every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, we go live on Amazon, and we have this show format where we talk about products, right? And so we had never done any sponsorships like in the early days, like almost 2 years ago now, or a year and a half ago, I guess. And so we made some case studies. We made some case studies based on streams that we had made, and we said, hey, here's some high level metrics. Here's some, the shipped revenue that we did, how many, sales we drove. Here's how many comments. Here's how many product clicks there were, the engagement rate in the comments section, right? And we created a case study, nice glossy case study, and we got our first sponsorships from doing that. So you can do the same thing with content that you create. Anthony in the chat said, you have a really nice nose. Thank you, Anthony. No one has ever complimented my nose before. Let me show you the profile. What do you think? Yeah? Thank you. I have a very harsh light coming down. It's like making shadows, but thank you. I appreciate that. Laura said, he's making a video, or is he talking to us? I'm talking to y'all, but I'm going live on a zillion different places. I'm going live on Instagram. I'm going live on TikTok. I'm going live on YouTube, Facebook. So I have like a bunch of different cameras. I have a whole camera here. I have a camera here. I have a camera here. So it's kind of chaos, I got to admit, but I'm here and I am definitely talking to you. 4.2 thousand likes. Is that good? This live stream has 4.2 thousand likes on TikTok. I don't know what that even means, but hopefully that's cool. It's okay. It's the eye contact. That's why. Yeah. Is the eye contact here? It's here. I don't know where to look. Right. Deals with Mel says, how many things are you streaming from? I don't know, maybe 10 platforms. I'm also streaming live in my Circle community right now, and I don't know if this is actually working or not. I guess we'll see it when I end the live stream, but I hope it is. That would be cool. Okay. Yeah, Trido says a course for beginners would be great. I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be, I'm so excited to launch that one. It's been a long time coming. It's just a lot of moving pieces behind the scenes to actually make that happen. And so thank you for your patience there. SCL Reviews has a great question. How far in advance would you pitch brands for each quarter? So my rule of thumb is that you should always be pitching brands for next quarter, regardless of what quarter you're in. So right now, quarter 2 is about to end. So obviously you should be pitching brands for quarter 3. The moment that you were in, so in my experience, like this isn't always the case, but as brands get larger, they will almost always plan out like for the next quarter. So all the marketing campaigns, all the paid influencer campaigns that they're locking in are actually for future quarters, right? It may not always be the case. Maybe, when Q2, let's say Q3 opens up July 1st, yeah, that may reset their budgets. And then all of a sudden they're now, heavy recruiting for creators for, their thick of the summer campaigns or for their back to school campaigns or whatever. Right. And so that's really my rule of thumb is like always whatever quarter you're in, pitch for next quarter. That's like the best, because sometimes it may surprise you. Maybe they'll say, oh yeah, we're actually recruiting for creators right now, but oftentimes they're like, no, it's going to be for next quarter. And that's one of the core things that I teach in all my content, my courses and coaching and things like that, is that the point of a pitch is not to get the deal in that moment, right? How many times have you reached out to a brand and they're just like, sorry, we're not working, we're not recruiting. We don't have any budget for paid influencer collaborations right now, but circle back with us in 3 months or whatever it is. How many times? Drop it in the chat. Have you ever gotten that? Right? When you reach out to a brand, because the point of a pitch is not to get the deal. The point of a pitch is much broader than that. It's to get on their radar. It's to understand that these things take time. It's to understand how you can provide value to them so that when they do have budgets that open up, they remember you. And that there's a lot that goes into this that I go into in detail in my courses and things like that. But that's really, it's really about realigning your expectations. That pitches are not about getting deals. Pitches are about sowing the seeds so that you can reap them down the line and you start building up your Rolodex. Because again, being a creator is a long-term game. If you want to be a full-time creator or be a creator for a long time period, then you have to start expanding and stretching the horizon of your creator business and think about, okay, what do I actually need to do so that I'm successful next year, in 6 months, in 3 months, in 12 months, right? Honestly, that is the whole reason that my wife and I doubled down on something like Amazon Live, for example, because we saw that the potential was going to be there in 2-3 years. And so we're investing the time now to really get good at this format so that when, all sorts of brands and it's not just Amazon, by the way, like lots of platforms are getting excited about live commerce. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, they're all doing it. You've probably seen articles or seen other people doing it. And so that when this whole tidal wave comes where brands are like, oh, we got to get on this and, figure this out, we are extremely well positioned because we've been doing it for the last 2 years. So that's just an example of like, the mindset that you need to have as a creator. And so my wheelhouse is definitely sponsorships, of course, but there's all sorts of other components about being a creator and being savvy and being professional and having insight or having foresight into what's coming down the pipe so that you can be prepared, right? Travel with the Harmony says, hey man, thank you so much for your tips. Helped me tremendously. I appreciate that so much. Really do. And I'm glad that my content is helpful. Let's see. Bundle 523 asks, what metrics do you value yourself when pricing? So the number one most important thing that you have to realize when you are working with brands is that they're always going to have one of 3 campaign goal types. Okay. The first is conversion focus. This is where a brand wants to drive a very specific action like sales, downloads on an app, coupon redemptions, something, clicks on a link, whatever. Right. So that's conversion focus. The second is content repurposing. So the whole goal, like we talked about earlier in the stream, the whole goal for the campaign for them is getting a bunch of compelling assets from you that they can repurpose, whether organically on their social platforms, use it for paid advertising, put it on their website, use it for an e-commerce partner, whatever. Okay. And then the third is brand awareness. So it's a product launch. They just want to spread the word, right? And so the reason that it's so important for you to understand what they're trying to accomplish is that the metrics that you need to care about in your pricing, in your proposal, has to be completely tied to their goal. So the reason that this is important is that if they are telling you that driving sales is their primary KPI, their primary key performance indicator for this campaign, then why are you sending them case studies with, oh, this video got this many views, or I get this many views on average? They don't care. They just told you that. So it's really critical. And so what you're proposing, what you're, the way in which you're pricing, if you're trying to say, oh, it's going to be, $50 per thousand views CPM, if you're trying to do, pricing based on like other things that don't matter to them, it's going to be really difficult to convince them to pay you. So it's a really, really fundamental concept to understand. I feel like I talk about this over and over and over and over. It's really critical to understand that you should not just be having a pricing page with your standard pricing, because every deal that you're ever going to do is going to be different. So when it comes to, I do have like a kind of a simple framework to think about in terms of the levers, the metrics to think about that are kind of universal across all the different campaign goal types. And it's called the DO rule. Okay. DUE. D is deliverables. What are they actually asking you to do for this campaign? How many posts? What's the medium of the posts, right? Photo, video, text, email, whatever. The second one is U, which is usage rights. Okay. What do they actually want to do with your content beyond you posting it on your platform? Like we just talked about, right? And then the E is exclusivity. Are they telling you that you cannot work with their competitors in a certain category for a certain duration? So if you think about those are the three main price drivers. There's lots of other things to consider, but if I were you, though, and I do have a video on my YouTube channel about that topic, and so those are the kind of the three main things that I would consider. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. Hello, happy mom. Thanks for the tips, Justin. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in and always leaving such kind comments. I always see you on social media, so I appreciate that. A Country Life says, I'm working on a deal. It's the best money I've ever done from your newsletter. It's not set, but we're getting close. A Country Life, I'm so proud of you. When you lock that deal down, will you DM me or will you send me an email? Because I would love to hear how that turned out. And it makes my day every single day when I get an email or a DM that someone got a deal from my newsletter. By the way, if you're not on my newsletter, you're missing the boat here. creatorwizard.com/join. I send you paid sponsorship opportunities every single week. And as a Country Life can testify here, these are real deals that you can get. I had someone get a long-term partnership, long-term protracted deal that allowed them to quit their 9-to-5 job just from the newsletter. So it's very high value. Okay. Becoming Bethany says, you get so passionate. I love it. I'm very passionate about this topic because I love it. I could talk about sponsorships from now until eternity. And this is like my zone of genius. Have you ever heard that saying? I say that without hesitation. Like, this is definitely my zone. This is my wheelhouse. I've done this for over a decade. I love talking about it. And I love helping change people's lives. This stuff can change your life. I think like people don't realize how much money you can make from sponsorships. Way more than pretty much any other revenue source. Way more than YouTube AdSense for the most part. Way more than affiliates. Yeah, maybe selling your own products can be helpful, but like sponsorships. 77% of creators say that sponsorships are their single highest revenue source. So that's why I created my Brand Deal Wizard program, y'all, because it represents the largest bucket of money for virtually all social media creators. So I am here to help you get better at this stuff. Okay? Ian Lev's code said, how are you multi-streaming, Justin? Are you using multiple devices? Yes, I am. I'm multi-streaming using something called Restream. I am a Restream partner or affiliate. So if you want to check it out, you can try it out for free using the link in my description boxes on YouTube and stuff like that. It's really cool. I'm live streaming on YouTube, my private Facebook group, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, where else? Instagram. I have a separate device for TikTok. I am hopeful soon that TikTok will allow me to go live using a Restream, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully it does. Yeah. Let's see here. Marcus says the newsletter is one of my favorites. I appreciate it. Yeah, because in addition to like all the sponsorship opportunities that I share in the newsletter, I also share tips, my new videos, my new content, podcasts where I'm interviewed, all things like that. So it's like one of my favorite things that I do, and a huge amount of work goes into it every single week. I'm sure you can see, like, those of you who receive the newsletter, I'm sure you can tell, like, it takes a lot to actually put it together, to surface, to curate all the opportunities, all the various things, in addition to paid sponsorship campaign opportunities where you can actually like click links and apply to stuff. There is 5 additional brands that my team researches every single week, of like really detailed brand deal research, by the way, that you can only get access to this if you refer at least one other creator to my newsletter. It's really detailed stuff. So we basically find creators who have just been sponsored by brands, and we reverse engineer it. We say, okay, well, clearly this brand is partnering with influencers. They just did a sponsored post with this creator. Let's reverse engineer this. Who is the likely contact at that brand who actually handles paid influencer campaigns? Here's their LinkedIn URL. Here's their email address. Here's pitching angles. What can you actually say when you reach out to them? Right? So it's like really high value stuff. We do 5 brands every single week. So Hello Happy Mom says massive value in the newsletter. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's blown up in the last like couple months. Like I think I had about 2,300 creators on my newsletter the last time I ran my course. I remember that number. And now I have almost 6,000 creators on the newsletter. So it's like more than doubled in less than a couple months. So it's crazy. So I don't even know like where this is going to be in another couple months, but I'm just so excited. It's so much fun. I love the newsletter. It's one of my favorite passion projects. So I appreciate it. Let's see here. I have a comment here in TikTok that I want to call out, which is that Hi Michelle says, it's so scary to negotiate. A brand reached out. I mentioned 500 and they countered 250 advice. So the easiest advice that I have around this topic is that I maybe you can tell me in the chat, what are they actually asking you to do? Because what you should not do is just say, okay, I really want to make this work. I can do it for 250. You have conceded everything and the brand has conceded nothing. And that is the exact opposite of what you should do. What you need to illustrate is that you can say, okay, well, thank you so much for letting me know that your max budget is 250. The full deliverables and the terms that you asked for, whether it was 2 TikToks and here's the usage rights and here's the exclusivity or whatever, that's going to be 500 like I just told you. I'm not coming down on my price for no reason. You don't say this to the brand. I'm just giving you this advice, right? What you say is that, okay, knowing that your max budget is 250, we can take out some of the posts. Maybe we're going to do 1 TikTok instead of 2 TikToks. We're going to shrink the usage rights from a year to 30 days or something, right? We're going to shrink the paid. Maybe there's going to be no paid rights now. It's just going to be organic. You can just reshare it. Right. So there's all these levers like we just talked about that's what you come back to them with. And you say, hey, I really want to make this work. I can do it for 250, but here's what the deal will look like at 250. We can still do it at the full ask of 500 like you asked, but here's what I can do for 250. Right. Hi Michelle says TikTok to create a promotional video for their online upskilling school that they sell a 2,000 program fee. I got it. So yeah, Michelle says interesting. So yeah, so that's really the mindset that you need to have here. And maybe there is some other interesting participation things that you can, or more creative compensation structures that you can finagle. So perhaps if it really is just kind of a very simple ask, like 1 TikTok or something, and there's no real other aspect to the partnership, you can say, okay, well, good to know that 250 is the max you can do. It is going to be 500 is the investment to work with me for this particular scope of work that you're asking me to do. But knowing that 250 is your max budget, I would be willing to do that if we can create some sort of hybrid compensation structure. So you will compensate me $250 flat. And then based on the number of signups for your $2,000 program, I will receive a 25% commission on any signups. Why not? Why can't you propose something like that? So again, we go back to this is the perfect topic for this live stream of what's actually negotiable in brand deals. Everything is negotiable. You're only limited by your creativity. Does that help, Michelle? Let me know how that turns out. DM me, by the way, if you ended up getting that deal, let me know what happens. Makeup Jackie Love says, can you use that on a brand that you already have worked with multiple times, but now know better and still remove deliverables? Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit earlier in the stream, and that's absolutely what you can craft when you come back to these brands, is that it's all about, you don't just come back to them and say, hey, I want to do the exact same things that I've been doing for you all these months, but now you got to pay me more. No, now you say, okay, I just want to let you know. And so in that situation, instead of removing deliverables, what you're going to do is you're going to be changing the entire structure of the partnership. So you're no longer going to be doing this. You're going to be doing some other different things that you have to assign a new value for. So maybe you're going to be creating content on a totally new platform. Maybe you're going to be helping them with some strategy work, consulting, getting on a Zoom call with them, talking about how to, do some other things to help them, take their brand to the next level on a different social platform, whatever. So it's a restructured partnership so that they can't be comparing apples to apples, be like, oh, well, we were paying you basically like $100 per video or whatever now. And now you're telling, you want to do 5 videos. And so you don't want to ever get into that game. You want to change the fundamental nature of the partnership. So that's the biggest trick when it comes to getting out of a hole of working with a brand that you've been working with for a while. You have to change the nature and the structure of the relationship so that when you do say it's going to be, twice as much or 3 times as much than they've been currently compensating you, that they can start to understand why they would pay you this different amount because the relationship is just now different. Okay. Sane says, awesome advice. I'm so glad to hear that. Michelle says, love it. Thank you. Of course. And I have a question from Janet Perky Perkins. What's up, Janet? Janet is another alum of the Brand Deal Wizard program. What can we do when brands want a promo video for them to use for ads, but they don't even want to negotiate rates? Well, you might have to give them the deuces, Janet, because if they want to use your content for ads and they don't understand the value of you granting that to them, and it should be a finite time period, by the way, this is not something that you should be granting to them perpetually. And if they're not willing to negotiate or understand that, how much they have to compensate you is going to increase based on the duration that they want to use those ads for, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, whatever, then they're commoditizing you. That's never the situation that you want to be in. You're not a commodity, right? So that's kind of the tough love there, Janet. Let's see. Marcus says, I want to launch a cohort-based course about hybrid meetings. Last time they wanted a community where they could connect. I didn't feel like setting that up. Any thoughts? Wow, I have a lot of thoughts on this, Marcus, because I have, my thoughts on the community aspect to, having a course, having a community has evolved over the years, ever since I've, launched my first cohort-based course back in January. Wow, January of 2021. So it's been a year and a half now. So it really comes down to the expectations that you're setting with the community, because in the beginning, when you're first launching your course, first launching your community, it is going to require quite a bit of heavy lifting from you personally, right? Because there's not going to be a ton of students in there initially. So it's going to be you in there prompting people, asking questions, getting the juices flowing, getting people to talk to each other, because that is the biggest difference between an audience and a community. An audience is you are up here on this podium basically, and you are kind of like broadcasting to people, like how I'm doing now, right? Like I'm just like talking to you, right? But a community is not just you talking to people, it's people talking to each other. And so what my community has evolved into is now it's achieved kind of enough critical mass where people are now talking to each other, helping each other out. And so but it did take a while to get to that place. And so you do have to make a determination for yourself of whether that is something that you want to nurture. But I must say, Marcus, that I believe that it's worth it to do that because you engender so much positivity and such good vibes when you can have a community like that where people have a safe space to talk to each other about this particular topic. And so you become kind of the leader that everyone kind of gravitates around, but you're not the only reason they're there. They're there to connect with other like-minded people, and it's not just you. So I do believe that like it can be a very valuable thing to add to your community. And so yeah, definitely something to consider. Wow, time has absolutely flown by this live stream. For those of you who are just tuning in or maybe caught the live stream in the middle, I did want to mention again that enrollment for my Brand Deal Wizard program, cohort number 6, enrollment just opened officially today. We already had a ton of creators join during the early access period who were on the wait list. And so this is going to be an absolutely fantastic course. It's a 4-week program that I teach live over Zoom. There's a ton of stuff that I would love to share that information with you. If you just want to go to branddealwizard.com, there's a ton of information on there, videos, testimonials, a lot more information about the program and what you can expect. This is going to be the biggest and best cohort, yes, by far. We had 42 creators participate last time, and I am anticipating there was 511 creators on the wait list. It was just insane. So this is going to be an amazing. There's going to be guest speakers. There's going to be office hours. There is a brand deal pricing calculator included. Tons of resources, checklists, templates, downloadables, Q&A. Again, the office hours. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for it. Can't wait. So yeah, branddealwizard.com if you are interested in learning more. Let's see. I got time for a couple more questions here. Yeah, Drea Brown says, just read something on this today. Getting people to talk to each other is absolutely huge. It really is because, it is, it's kind of hard to describe how awesome of a feeling it is when community members can help each other, right? Where I will just wake up and they'll be like, a zillion comments, like someone posted like, oh, help me with this negotiation or help me with this pitch. Does this look right? Like, this type of thing. Like, it's such a beautiful thing to come in there and see a bunch of people like answering them. Like, it's just, it's indescribable, honestly. And the other thing too is that those people become your biggest advocates for you and for your platform and for your community. And so like, I really do think if you are looking to build a long-term sustainable business around being a creator, I think that, it takes a lot of the pressure off of you long-term, feeling like you always have to be on this content hamster wheel. Well, I should be one talking. I do pump out a lot of content, but it does take a lot of the pressure off of you in the long run to feel like there's a space. And the other really amazing thing is that when you create the community, there will be people that you naturally like rise to the surface. They are just all like those people just do everything. They really believe in it. They're like a protege basically. And you will see those people and you can essentially identify them and knight them. Like that's how I hired D. Who, if you're still on this chat, D, but like that's like D was like a model student, superstar student, and she like embodies everything that I teach, and she has taken it and taken her career as a creator to an absolute amazing level. And so I basically hired D. I said, hey, can you help me some of these things that I'm trying to do? Can you help me with the newsletter? Can you help me with, moderation and engagement with my community? And then now to the point where she's teaching office hours in my course. Right? Another thing that we have started doing is identifying what we're calling community experts from my previous cohorts, and now they are helping out the new cohorts. So there's all these like interesting things that you can grow when you are building a community over time. And D and fam is still here. What's up, D? Great to see you. By the way, guys, don't miss next week's live stream because D and I are going to be live together. We're going to do kind of a live interview, kind of talking all about creator, like your goals for mid-year as a creator, because we're, again, coming up on Q3 now, which is crazy. And so we're going to talk all about like goal setting and why that's important for creators. And D is going to be on there. I love talking with D. We always have such an amazing time. D drops so many gems all the time. She's just like a walking like quote generator. And so I'm so stoked to have her on the live stream next week. So don't miss that out. Don't miss out on that. And my baby, April Athena 7 in the TikTok chat said, I am an expert at collecting your checks. LOL JK. Oh my God. Yeah, that is very true, boo. That is very true. But the same could be said. I'm an expert at collecting your checks because you killing it on a social media, on the gram, on Amazon Live lately. So we just we're a dynamic duo, I think, baby. Anyways, y'all, I made it through a 1 hour live chat. And I did not know whether I was going to be able to do that with my cough and everything getting over COVID. So thank you all so much again for tuning in. I appreciate you, each and every one of you, for tuning in every week. It really does mean a lot to me. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and it's going to be a hot one here in the Bay Area. Going to try and stay cool with my family. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on the flip side